thank you guys for joining me again on Starknet Espresso today, especially Sylvie and Adam. You guys are coming back for the second time. I really appreciate you guys joining me again.
Yeah, nice to be
Thanks for
here.
having us again.
So one of the reasons why I thought we should have this was because of the strkBTC launch. Towards the tail end of last year, there was so much traction in terms of privacy on the blockchain, and I've been following privacy since then. In fact, I had one episode with Abdel. He actually jumped on after our episode, and one of the things we talked about very well was privacy. And it seems like Starknet is doing very well on that front now. We have BTC-Fi, and now we have privacy added on top of that. So maybe this is where you come in, Adam. I would like to hear your thoughts on what privacy is for you and what you think about what is going on now.
Yeah, I think I'm just to be clear, I'm not like a privacy maxi or anything. I just try to look at it objectively. And I think there's been like a lot of hype and push towards making stuff more private, which is nice. I mean, I feel like it's much better than all the ICO, the NFT craze that was here before, because there's actually there is a point to having privacy. You have to understand that just having privacy is not that easy because it requires a change in the behavior of the people, not just using a different solution, right? So even if you use Zcash or Monero or even strkBTC with strk20 with the privacy mode enabled, if you use it like you would your usual token in a way that, okay, I receive some funds, I directly deposit the same amount of funds into Vesu, for example, to earn yield, I'm getting no privacy from that because everyone sees, the amount going in and the seconds later, the amount going out, right? So what you really need is also to change the behavior of people, to understand how these things need to be handled such that, you receive an amount, you then need to wait for a bit to decouple basically the inputs and outputs of that specific transaction. So there is, I feel like it's not only the technology problem, but also an education problem. And it seems like mostly solutions just focus on technology and not so much on the education, which I feel like is as important, if not more important, because with good education, you can even have good privacy with on-chain Bitcoin today, right? There are ways how you can mix Bitcoins in a coin join natively on Bitcoin and get pretty good amount of privacy by obfuscating your trail. But again, comes to the fact that, you need to be educated about this. And I see that what Starknet is doing now with strkBTC is nice, and it really makes sense because it makes this privacy more approachable for people, and it actually has something more to give to the Bitcoiners who would wrap their Bitcoin into strkBTC, because you at least get some additional benefit, which is kind of important for the Bitcoin people. I do not think that most of the Bitcoin people do really care about DeFi and all these primitives, even though they are slowly waking up to that. But I think privacy is one topic where these people, even if they are like hardcore Bitcoiners, do understand that there is a benefit of it. So that's nice that Starknet is pushing that vertical. I think it makes.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. One of the things I like about this part, because last year we talked about BTC-Fi and BTC coming on Starknet, but I think this extra added feature now, this privacy feature, makes it appealing for people to move from Bitcoin into this place now. And another thing I like about it, because I was able to explore Xverse and see how the strkBTC privacy works, the shielding part and the unshielding part. One thing I like about it is that it's easy to navigate. Just to allude to what you talked about, education, it doesn't need much for people to adapt to the UI UX. And I think it's very fantastic what they are doing so far. Maybe I want to pull you in here, Sylvie. What's the reaction that you've seen from the Bitcoin community? I understand Atomiq Labs now is the official bridge for Starknet.io. And I think you guys have a bird's eye view of what is happening in terms of people buying into strkBTC. What's the reaction from the Bitcoin community?
Well, it's hard to say what the reaction from the Bitcoin community is because, I cannot tell you if a user who uses Atomiq either through strkBTC.io or atomiq.exchange is actually a Bitcoiner, or it's someone who was on Starknet before and is moving some of their Bitcoin into Starknet now.
Yeah, I mean, so far we've seen like lots of like larger swaps, which we would say it's mostly like bigger players, positioning liquidity there into Starknet, and there has been some like something that we could classify as a retail volume going in and out as well, but it's not like crazy high amounts yet. I think like it will take time until you have solutions which allow people to use this without even knowing they are using it, right? For example, that's what I think might be pretty valuable.
The interesting part is, though, especially for institutions, because there is always the argument that institutions won't come on chain unless there is privacy. So in that sense, like using strkBTC, they definitely can obfuscate now their next moves, so to speak.
This has been talked about, and then people criticize that yes, in strk20 as developed by Starkware, there is this way how a single party can, well, not a single party, I think this should be a federation, that they can de-anonymize, right? This is really like, yeah, this is maybe not very nice if you are a regular user, a regular person using the solution. But for institutions, this is actually like completely fine. It actually might be preferable for them to use something like this than like a completely permissionless system like Zcash or Monero is, right? Because yes, they what these institutions want, they just want privacy from the outside observer, right? So they do not really care if there is a specific entity which could, in theory, decrypt their transactions, because it's anyway the thing they are used to when they use banks, when they use brokers. You have this kind of relationship there where, okay, the counterparty actually does know what you're doing, but the whole world doesn't, which is the important part.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. One of the things that I talked to with I forgot, Angie from Phoenix Protocol, the privacy protocol, and one of the things that she talked about, especially with retailers buying into this privacy narrative, is there's been an increase in range attacks, and I think because of that, a lot of retail users will want to buy into this. In France alone, I think we have 41 of those already this year. So I think there's an increasing need for privacy, even for retail users, and it's reflected in the number of range attacks that we have recently. And I think it addresses what we have now currently. Addresses that. We'll dive into the part of the trucker, Canadian truckers' idea of privacy, those maximalists. But I think what we have now works.
It's a good question if that really helps you with that. I'm not really sure how much of these range attacks actually come from the fact that you link a holding of the single person to its, like the blockchain holding to their name. But yeah, I think it's more like, KYC, right? Like that's how these attacks work. They somehow get the KYC data from some exchange. And here the privacy solution wouldn't help you at all anyway, right? If it doesn't matter. If you buy Zcash on an exchange, that exchange still has a record of you buying a bunch of Zcash. So it doesn't really help you there. So yeah, but again, like, if there is a single party, or not a single party, if there is a federation who can, then decrypt the values, the amounts, that means that these guys can also get hacked, and then these attackers get a full basically picture of what you're doing. But there is like 1,000 different ways how this can happen, right? It can also be that you use a single RPC provider to send these transactions, so that the RPC provider can correlate the transactions to your IP address, and that's how they can de-anonymize you. Like privacy is hard. Privacy is very hard, and like just boiling it down to a single technology that we have, like strk20, is a bit of a bit too easy. Makes it a bit too easy.
Yeah, fair. So I think we can agree that the greatest benefactors of what we have now will be institutions.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think for them, the strk20 is probably like a step in a very good direction.
Nadai, you have I like to classify Brove as the primary window to almost every protocol on Starknet because you have everything integrated. With what you've seen so far, where is the majority of strkBTC coming in? Where are they going to? Which protocols are they getting into?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Uche. And at Bro, the main activity we use the user for me is lending on Besu and staking on Endur. It's growing fasting. More money is coming into BTC5 on Starknet, especially with StarkBTC, no? We also see a lot of activity in swaps, bridging, for example, Atomiq, and liquidity provider. For me, or for for Bro, liquidity provider, also TVL on Starknet is very high, but we still don't see many Bro users doing it.
Oh.
A big priority for us is reducing friction in onboarding the Bitcoin user. For example, in Brove, with a one-click feature, and user can connect, for example, Xverse, BTC through Atomiq, get a StarkBTC or WBTC, and start staking or lending in just a few steps. And this is changing how user interact. User go from just holding BTC to actually using in Starknet. So in Brove, the main movement is BTC5 is lending, staking, swaps, and bridging through Atomiq, in my opinion.
Do you actually have any kind of, or do you plan to do anything with the privacy aspect of the strkBTC in Brove?
No, privacy only Xver and Ready.
Okay.
For now, only integration the StarkBTC in all protocols.
Okay.
For example, send Bitcoin and StarkBTC via Atomiq, or StarkBTC and Besu, staking liquidity provider. Only strategy the BTC.
I see.
So I think they are just concentrated on the unshielded part of it currently. Probably we'll see something in the future. So one thing I was going to ask, because I'm always like having this argument with people, where does privacy start when you're bridging using Atomiq Labs? Does it start at the bridge or is activated in wallet?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And this is it comes to the root of like why doing any kind of privacy actions is very difficult. So if you use Atomiq to go from Bitcoin to Starknet, you are swapping BTC into strkBTC on Starknet, the unshielded strkBTC. Well, the reason for this is that even in a world where you would be able to go from Bitcoin directly into the shielded amount in strkBTC, it doesn't provide you with any privacy at all because everyone sees you're swapping from this Bitcoin amount and it's going into strkBTC. So everyone can actually deduce that, okay, the actual strkBTC amount received is what I pay, what this guy sent on Bitcoin minus whatever the fees, if any, and that's probably what he received. So this doesn't provide you any advantage when it comes to bridging. And it's very tricky to do this bridging privately, especially if one of the sites is basically non-encrypted or like clear text amounts, which Bitcoin is, right? So how it works currently is we basically just facilitate the way from native BTC into strkBTC, and then you basically have to use the Xverse shield feature to shield it in the wallet, and then you can use it in a shielded way. You can send it around, and then you can unshield it. But also, again, careful. If you shield your strkBTC balance on one wallet and then unshield on the same wallet, you don't get any privacy from that.
Yeah,
everyone sees you're using the same wallet, right? So the how you should do it, that comes to the education part, is that you should shield your strkBTC. You should create a bunch of ephemeral wallets, each of which you should only use for one specific thing, right? So let's say you want to borrow stablecoins on Vesu. You should open a new account just for that, new Starknet account, send the strkBTC there through the strk20 protocol so that it's private, and then use that amount to actually borrow on Vesu and get the stablecoin liquidity there and use it there, such that you don't really link to your original wallet, but you have like a separate ephemeral account which you just use for this. And after you're done with this, after you pay the loan, you should just never use that account again. Not link it back to your original wallet.
Yeah, more like what VC does with isolated markets. Yeah. One thing that I've noticed recently is most protocols on Starknet are now working together, I would say integrating together. So one of the things I noticed was Endure integrated Atomiq Labs into their protocol. Sylvie, what's the inspiration for this? Because I see it happening a lot now. I think XVAS even has an in-wallet DeFi applications for Starknet. So what is inspiring this move?
Well, first of all, we're like Atomiq is integrated into Xverse for a while already, so we're working together already. And then, I mean, like Atomiq is supporting or like powering the official bridge between Bitcoin and Starknet, strkBTC. So I think this is one of the reasons we all want to onboard more Bitcoin liquidity into Starknet. And therefore, Atomiq is the best way to do this. And that's why we're also like, pushing for more integrations and also making it easier to integrate Atomiq.
Yeah, sure.
Just an aside, I think as far as I know for Ender, they didn't really integrate Atomiq directly. I think it's more so that you can just click a link on their website and it just points you to Atomiq.exchange where you can do the swap. So this was like, the most straightforward integration where they just say, okay, go there and swap there. But I mean, yes, it is possible to use our SDK. Also, like soon enough, we will have a REST API to integrate these Bitcoin swaps directly into your dApp. Same as Brove did, actually, right? They have it directly in their web application, and that allows them to do basically this single flow of like depositing BTC, depositing it then into Ender or Vesu on Starknet side in a one single flow, fully owned by a single web app. So that's kind of what we should strive for, what these solutions should strive for to get like an even better user experience for Bitcoiners coming in. And yes, as Sylvie said, like in Xverse, you have this natively in the wallet. You just hit that you want to go from BTC into strkBTC inside Xverse, you're able to swap. Even though like don't quote me on that being already there, because like we've been providing BTC to WBTC swaps to Xverse for quite some time, but I'm not sure if they already released the newer version where it also allows strkBTC swaps. So maybe once this video is live, it will already be there, but who knows?
I mean, in the end, it's all about removing friction. It's removing friction for the user to make it as easy for them as possible to move into Starknet. And that's basically what we're striving for.
Because you touched on this one click and deposit to staking. I was going to ask how that works out for Endure. The idea of just clicking once and then having whatever flavor of BTC you have deposited into the pool, whatever pool it is.
Yeah, for now, for me, with Atomiq integration is very easy because the Bitcoin user only bridge the Bitcoin and receive strkBTC, and only in two step stake, for example, in Endure. No, it's very cool for integration the all protocols, the Starknet, the BTC5 use the bridge the Atomiq, for example.
Okay.
Yes. So what Nadai basically explains is that yes. So currently it's two steps, but we are kind of striving to make it just a single step. And I know we've been talking about this for quite some time. There is always something else that we need to work on. So it's very hard to push that out to production, but there will be a way how you can basically go in a single step from a Bitcoin, from Bitcoin into whatever action you want to execute on the Starknet side. And that should be that will be the end goal of like what we want to achieve, like this very seamless way of like literally just a single click. So not having to be and do a two-step flow anymore, just a single thing. And Nadai, yeah, we will of course let you know as soon as we have that, so that
Thank you for your help.
so that this will get even better on Brove.
Right. So one thing I wanted to do, I've done a couple of videos for Brove, but I think it makes more sense if Nada you're able to talk to my audience or talk to the audience. What are the opportunities available for people holding strkBTC? Maybe not just strkBTC, but what can we do on Brove? What exactly does Brove enable people do on Starknet?
Yes, it's a very good question. This, for me, is a big part of what we are building. Starknet at Web3, but with a simple Web2 experience. And bro, a Bitcoin user can create an account with Wallet Expert, Ready, or Bravos, or they can create it with social login, for example, email or password and user using the cartridge controller. We also see this good user experience in Brove Royal. Brove Royal is a strategic card game where anyone can create a profile, play and farm, and earn reward in items or subs. For example, integration the paymaster, gasless fee, controller connection. For now, in Brove Royal, the reward from the game quest and prize tournament are distributed in WBTC, but soon will move to strkBTC. This is alpha only Starknet Espresso, okay?
Yeah.
The idea behind Brove Royal is simple. If you are a Bitcoiner, you should be able to use and earn the asset easily, layer BTC5 on Starknet, or move back to Bitcoin using Atomiq, for example. All with no friction, thanks to a construction native and the use is speeding in Brove.
Great.
I think it's really cool. Like, I haven't really checked out the new game aspect of Brove, but I've used it before, and it's such a good thing where it gives you like a good overview of all your positions. And well, first of all, it gives you good overview of all the possibilities you have on Starknet with any kind of BTC wrapped asset. But it also, again, shows you the breakdown of all your positions that you have open, which sometimes might be a bit tricky to track all of them, especially if they are across multiple protocols like Ender or Vesu, right? So it's just a very cool and nice dashboard to use if you are like a bit BTC-Fi user coming and using Starknet.
Yeah.
Yes, and I would even say, sorry, go ahead, Nadai. No, I would even say that for people who are not necessarily as deep in the crypto space yet, having something like Brove where you have like one dashboard and you see all the opportunities, and that's also like a dashboard that you can trust, is actually very helpful for user onboarding as well. Because right now, most of the solutions are actually like scattered. So with Brove, you actually have one dashboard that a user can go back to, where a user, can explore BTC-Fi in a relatively safe way.
Yeah, true. Not to toot my own horn, I was number 3rd in the whole of Brove Royal the last time we played the game. Not tooting my own horn, but I was very good at it. And I also like to refer to Brove as the Amazon of Starknet, to be honest, because it gives you a window to everything, and that's one of the things I love about Brove. Coming back to Atomiq Labs now, I imagine that with the way things are going now and being exposed now to more people coming into Starknet because you're the official bridge, there will be a lot of liquidity pouring in. How are you managing that liquidity pressure?
Good question. I mean, we just have to readjust what we have currently, and reallocate some parts that we've been having on other chains, because I mean it makes sense. Like, we want to allocate liquidity where there is the most demand, so we basically do that. And also, the Starknet Foundation and Starker is helping with that, which is quite nice. And I mean, eventually, the Atomiq protocol is basically permissionless. So that means that basically anyone can come in with their own liquidity and actually facilitate swaps for users as well. So that means basically what that implies that you have to run this always online market maker. So it's not like for regular people that you can go easily to a website and just click deposit. It's more elaborate than that. So this is more suited for liquidity providers which have like more liquidity and which can afford to host this thing and do have some kind of experience that they can do it. We actually have one guy running this from his house actually, so you can also do that. But yeah, so that's kind of the overview of that.
I think I know the guy running it. He's actually my friend.
Is he? Okay.
That's Rob, yeah?
Robert, yeah, exactly.
One more thing I wanted us to touch, maybe Sylvie will be better pleased to answer this, is Atomiq Labs focusing on just a front end for retail users to bridge, or are we moving now to a place where you can actually integrate Atomiq Labs into almost every app on Starknet?
Well, definitely. In the beginning, you have to start with your own front end. But the long-term plan is definitely to get Atomiq integrated into protocols on Starknet, and then later down the line also into DEX and bridge aggregators, because that way that also opens up the floodgates to even more users to come into Starknet. And yeah, we're looking forward to everything that's to come.
Yeah, sure. The SDK is one of the things that I'm always interested in because of developers most of my friends are developers. So Adams, how does the SDK work for people that want to integrate Atomiq Labs into their projects?
Yeah, we've been known for not having the best of docs, let's say, for the SDK, which has now changed considerably. So we now have an official docs page at docs.atomiq.exchange. And there you can actually check, and there is a guide about how to integrate the SDK. We are currently also working to make the docs more LLM friendly, such that you can just simply ask your AI agent to code an Atomiq SDK integration for you, which should be live in a matter of a few weeks from now. So that will make it even easier to integrate. And again, SDK is good, is the best way to integrate Atomiq because it basically verifies everything on the client side. So you don't really have to trust any third-party server to pre-validate the transaction data that you're going to send, and etc. So if you develop your app in JavaScript or TypeScript, you should prefer that. But we know from talking to people that some of the projects they don't want to have the SDK. They don't have their apps written in TypeScript, or JavaScript. So that's why we are now also pushing out the REST API in two flavors. You can basically either self-host it on your own infrastructure, or you can use the public one that we provide. As a warning, as a side note, if you use an API, you do implicitly trust the backend to provide you the correct transaction data when you create a swap. So you should keep that in mind. And yes, so this is something that we again are also releasing in the next couple of weeks. Actually, hopefully next week, the docs will be ready for the REST API as well. So then basically you have two ways to integrate Atomiq, and both should be LLM friendly, so that you can just let your AI agent know that you want to have Atomiq, and it should be able to do the rest.
What else should we be expecting from Atomiq Labs in the future, especially with respect to the strkBTC?
Yeah, good question. The thing that I've been talking about, the basically just one click flow would be quite useful, and this is actually what we've been talking about with the Starkware team as well from the beginning, is to basically have this bridge and shield flow in a one single, one click thing, such that you directly receive the shielded asset, and then you can already use it. Again, as I discussed, the actual privacy you get from that is not that great. This is not so much about privacy. This is more so about basically and not having to do the shielding step, so just kind of reducing the user friction. So this is something that we really want to work on in the next couple of months, let's say. And then we have another thing which has been quite vocally requested by a bunch of our partners, is that currently to use Atomiq to go from on-chain Bitcoin into Starknet, you need to basically connect your Xverse wallet, you need to connect your Unisat wallet. Basically, you need to connect the wallet on the Bitcoin side. And a lot of Bitcoiners actually do not use these kind of wallets. They usually use, hardware wallets or of all the kinds, right? So it's quite tricky for them to use Atomiq. They first have to go through deposit to your Xverse. They maybe have to, or even though not Xverse, they probably don't use Xverse, right? And then bridge on our front end or to strkBTC front end. So what we want to do is basically introduce a single deposit address that will be static per user. And this way the user can just simply send to this address. And as soon as the money lands there, it will be automatically bridged into Starknet, which just, makes it much simpler, much better UX for these people to be onboarded into Starknet.
So yeah, in the end, I would say our plan is to make it as easy as possible for Bitcoiners to land in Starknet land.
Yeah, fair enough. Talking about easy, I was going to give a shout out to Atomiq Labs and Xverse. Unfortunately, Xverse is not joining us. But one of the I made a video with regards to that, but I don't think people understood or understand how difficult off-ramping in Nigeria can be, especially if you're on Starknet, right? And to be able to get to use what you guys offer DC to make things like, I'll give you a typical example. Before now, if I had to off-ramp from Starknet, I had to move from Starknet wallet to a centralized exchange. From a centralized exchange, I would go to a local exchange that would then convert the crypto to Naira in app before I can now get it to my account. So you're talking about like 4 different steps. And then the local exchange will then charge extra amount on exchange fees. So to be able to have a protocol or to have what you guys have now, where we recently had one app that came up, the name of the app is Resolver. So all I had to do was basically just move my assets through Atomiq Labs to their platform and I get credited, and it's done in one click. Actually, I was even doing like 2 steps, and then I posted, and Adam now came and said, why not just put the Resolver BTC address, and it just works seamlessly, one touch. And you can either do it with Xverse, but primarily if you're coming out from Starknet, you have to use Atomiq Labs. And the way it works is magic. I think that's one of the best things that's happened to me this year. It's one of the best things that happened to any Starknet user in Nigeria. And it's thanks to Atomiq Labs and what you guys are doing. I thought I should give a shout out. When I say it, I don't think people understand how hectic, how difficult it was. But you guys have made it very, very easy. So it's shout out to you guys. Thank you very much.
That's so cool. That's so cool to hear about these use cases that we would have never thought about. And I mean, I guess it's very hard for us privileged Europeans to realize like how tricky it might be in these countries to get your hands on cash, right? Like what we take as given. That like I can go to an ATM and just get euros out might not really be the case in other countries, which is I think very important to keep in mind, and that's why also crypto was invented, or what was the main premise of crypto is to basically facilitate these things. And it's so nice to just hear that like there is an actual use case where we could help to do this. And yeah, as one of many, if we consider also the fact that you can pay for stuff via Lightning through Atomiq, then there's been like a great bunch of examples on X of like we discussed this last time, like a guy paying his dental treatment, which is again very fitting for Starknet. The logo is a toothpaste basically, right? So and yeah, like a bunch of other people. Paying with stuff via Lightning, via Atomiq, and then using Starknet in the background. Actually, when we are talking about payments, tomorrow is pizza day, so 22nd of May. So that's basically the time when the first crypto, or well, back then Bitcoin transaction happened, where a guy bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 BTC. And yeah, it's basically now possible to do the same. Well, usually what you do is you go out and you have a pizza, right? But usually these places generally don't accept Starknet assets and things, but many of them do accept Lightning. So this is again like a nice use case how you can spend your Starknet tokens, your strkBTC on Starknet, or we even support stable coins now, right? We support USDC, so you can even spend your USDC and then pay in Lightning to these things, to these merchants accepting Bitcoin Lightning. And I will see tomorrow. We'll try to find a pizzeria that accepts Lightning, and we'll do exactly this.
Great.
No, and in the end, I think there is one very big argument that always comes up when Lightning is brought up as a payment method, and that is that people don't want to spend their Bitcoin. And with Atomiq, they can actually spend USDC wherever Bitcoin Lightning is accepted. So I think this is also like removing some of the, I don't want to spend my BTC thinking.
And it's so cool. Like we actually shot some videos back in Cannes with Sylvie, and because just to like let you know, because that was such a cool experience, is to I play I was playing of Loot Survivor on Starknet, of course, and you do get these survivor tokens out of it, right? If you catch beasts and things like that. I also did participate in some tournaments with other people and won some Starknet tokens as well. And yeah, what's crazy about this is basically I was able to use these funds that I played to earn. And actually buy a burger with it in France, in Cannes. So I turned my magic internet money into real world assets, which is very nice. And I got I've eaten thanks to that. So that's nice.
Nadai, one last question before we wrap it up. What do we expect from Brove going forward?
For me or for the user, Brove Royal gamers are very happy. Brove tournaments are doing really well. Yeah. Right now, rewards are in WBTC, but we are exploring launching them in StarkBTC. For us, or the very important for me, is the assets are not just hold. A player use inside the game, for example, to upgrade their team, buy items, get boost, unlock bosses, or use BTC5 like staking, farming, or other. No. Today or recently, we add a PvP mode with betting. Player bets something match, and the winner takes everything reward. No. This makes WBTC more useful, and soon StarkBTC. For me, or for Ethos, the Brove, another key feature is Bitcoin identity. It's very important for us because any user with Bitcoin layer 1 activity can complete Brookbox. Brookbox is like magic box with secret proof that verify activity the Bitcoin layer 1 and unlock new use cases. For now, we have live quests where user earn sats from BTC5 action, like loan, staking, or bridging, for example. But in hybrid quests, it's very important, the Brookbox. Brookbox, for example, in Endure give boosted reward on extra point in Endure, Besu, or Trove. This Brookbox also give a score. This is a score name in Brove is Brove score. And this is a score is used inside Brove Royal, giving player more experience per match. In short, for me, Brove is simple and split in 3 verticals. One vertical, Bitcoin identity, 2 vertical, easy access to BTC5, and 3 vertical is Brove Game or Brove Royal. It's very important that helps people start using crypto in a natural way. Because, for example, in Brove Game, the user no crypto, social login with a cartridge, AR reward in WBTC. Oh, WBTC is money, with money. The user, for example, breach the Atomiq, a Bitcoin layer 1. For me, in my opinion, Brove is the home for Bitcoiner, an entry point or gateway, the all BTCifying and the Starknet protocol, all in one UI with a great user experience. For example, Bitcoin user, no Bitcoin Starknet user, only connect your wallet, the Bitcoin, and you track, for example, your balance, transaction, or other, for example, balance the rooms. Okay.
Yeah. For me, one thing I would say for sure, if I was to get someone to Brove, especially for Bitcoiners, I don't think you should do your transactions just like that when you can do it on Broves and get rewards for it. And I'm speaking as someone that has been rewarded for, using my Bitcoin wallet via Brove, because you accumulate points as you complete Brove boxes, and there are rewards that are attached to it. And I think I was one of the first people to win the prizes. Again, not trying to toot my own, but I've been, instead of just doing your transactions like that, you can actually do it on Brove and earn rewards for it. So yeah, that's a good pitch for Brove, especially to Bitcoiners. Yeah, I want to say thank you very much to everybody for coming back. To you too, Adam and Sylvie, especially the two of you for coming back. I'm super happy that you guys made our time for this. Nadai, I'm also we've been talking on Telegram for the longest time. This is the first time that we're actually meeting one-on-one. So I'm really happy that we're able to make this. But I'm not leaving it. You guys are not running away. I prepared our normal end of the the rapid fire session. Today I did a little bit. So Sylvia, I'm not going to put you on the spotlight.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
So, who's gonna be the one with the most questions now?
Let's see. Adam, we're on the spotlight first.
Okay.
If your internet history from the last 48 hours was to be shown to the public or to be played in your family gathering, would you still go for it, or you take a break?
What? Like my history of 48 hours?
Yeah.
My browsing history. And what was the possibilities?
The possibility, would you wear, so let's say if your browsing history for the last 48 hours was pasted on your shirts and you're supposed to go for a family dinner, would you go for the family dinner, or would you just avoid it?
Would you find an excuse to go for dinner, Adam?
Let's see. I would probably avoid the dinner.
I'm not going to ask why. No.
It's rapid fire questions. No clarification.
Yeah, sure. Sylvie, your turn. Don't smile yet. Maybe yours could be worse. Okay, so Sylvie, if your smart speaker, Alexa or Siri, could suddenly post on X, what is the funniest habit of yours that you wouldn't want it to expose?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Well, first of all, I don't use any smart speakers, so I guess that might be my way around here.
Hypothetically.
I actually really don't. I hate them. I even disable Siri on my phone because I think that's one of the most annoying things that you can have.
Fair enough. Oh, Nadai, if you were to be an animal, which animal would that be?
Tiger or jaguar, or no sé.
Well, that's
Animal.
tiger, right? You also have a tiger on your cap.
Yes, it's the jaguar or tiger, no sé, whatever, right?
Yes.
Oh, fair enough. One last question for two of you would be, we have strkBTC on Starknet now. Where would you be? What would be your favorite place to put your strkBTC?
Oof. Well, if I want to answer as a Bitcoin maxi, the most useful thing for me would be to just borrow against the strkBTC.
Yeah, I know. Sylvie, same.
Maxi is very difficult.
Same.
Maxi, no like layer choose.
Yeah. True. I mean, like, honestly, the way I think about it is just, if so what are my options, right? I want to borrow stables against my Bitcoin. What can I do? Well, I can either go and use a centralized platform and get 8% per year on the interest, or I can go to Starknet and use, a multi-sig bridge, but still, I say better than the centralized platform and get 3% on Vesu. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's like if you, like I understand, like, lots of Bitcoin maxis are like, nah, yeah, but then if you actually like tell them that these are your options, then this kind of way of like, okay, going into Starknet and borrowing on Vesu starts seeming not like the stupidest of idea, and actually makes a lot of sense.
No, and especially if you think about it from that angle that you say either you have to sell BTC or you borrow against it on a Bitcoin L2. I'd say most of the people who actually think rationally would choose the Bitcoin L2 route.
Yeah, because even if the protocol gets hacked, then you can write it off as a loss, and you don't need to pay taxes.
True. True.
Hi, Adam.
True. So I'll put this caveat to it. This is not a financial advice, but it makes good financial sense.
Thank you very much for that, Uche. I appreciate it.
By the way, I remember the water gun from last time, right? It's still there.
Oh yeah.
I almost forgot. Like, when I joined, I was like, okay, there is a water gun, and I was starting to remember. Oh yeah, that was there the last time around, and you had like a cool story around it as well. So
it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Oh, thank you so much, guys. It was this was good. This was good. Hopefully, we'll have one more when XVerse comes back. But this was fantastic. I'm super happy that you guys made our time for this. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you very much.